Hey guys, so I'm really excited about this video today. It is a 1 month 1 palette for the Urban Decay electric palette. I have been doing 1 month 1 palette all year long. I just haven't had time to film. So I've just been kind of doing my own thing, enjoying my palettes, but I did want to film this one, so I did try to document things. I have some pictures that'll either be inserted in the video or after the video at some point, but I did do some eye looks with this palette. This has been something, I bought this palette in 2014. I got it on Black Friday, so I paid, I think, $35 for it. Let me dig these out. Everybody, I'm sure, has seen it. Everybody knows that it has been discontinued. But there's the palette. I love the colors. I'm all about bold eyeshadows, and my typical like go-to thing is that I do a very neutral look. I kind of do a very neutral I lay down a very neutral foundation. I have hooded eyes, so hooded eyes I think have the challenge of sometimes if you want them to look a certain way, you kind of have to shape them out first. It's almost like contouring. You kind of have to contour them and then you can kind of do colors on top of them, keeping that contour in mind, if that makes sense. So a lot of my looks tend to look the same, darker crease shade blended up, give me some contour there, and then a bright pop of color on the lid. That's sort of my go-to. It's what it is. I have hooded eyes. That's where I feel comfortable. So anyways, one cool thing about hooded eyes though too is that you can do really bold colors on the lids and they're not as bold. If that makes sense, they don't come across as, how did it just get so dark in here? I don't feel like they come across as being so bold and so in your face. So if you are a little bit more self-conscious about wearing really bold makeup, I think having hooded eyes, you know, could be a blessing. I'm going to get to reviewing the palette. Basically, every month my goal for what I've been doing with my 1 month 1 palette has been a little bit different. This palette was more for me since it's been discontinued, since I've had it a while, since, as you can see, it doesn't have a lot of, it looks like it's been barely used, even though I've used it quite a bit. I was kind of thinking, do I want to keep this palette or not? And I'm still kind of on the fence about that. I like this palette, but I came to some conclusions with it, and it kind of leaves me, I don't know, there's things I love about it, things I don't love about it. So, first, I'm going to show you Revolt. So this guy right here is Revolt, and I do not like Revolt. I don't like it at all. I think it's kind of pointless. I've always wondered why it was in this palette. The only use I've really found for it is an inner corner highlight, but as you can even see here on the pan, it's got a lot of fallout. So yeah, I did use it as an inner corner highlight, and I will probably do that just to get some use out of it, but I definitely think that one could just might as well have been left out of the palette. The next one here is Gonzo. Boom, Gonzo looks very bright. There, I'm gonna go ahead and swatch Fringe. But it's actually quite wearable on the eye, and my problem with Gonzo is that it's not as good of a formulation as Fringe. And even though they look somewhat different, swatching them there, they look so similar on the eye, just one is matte and one has a little bit of a sheen to it. So, and I actually preferred Fringe here with the sheen. So wasn't a big fan of Gonzo either. However, one of my favorites here is Slow Burn. I'll go ahead and swatch Slow Burn and Savage. Slow Burn on the orange, Savage is the pink. Love both of those. And they're both, well, Slow Burn might be a little bit of a satin, or it has some glitter to it maybe, but, ooh, so you can, these are hard to see. So this one is Thrash, and this one is Freak. I loved Thrash, and I thought it was really cool, and I had a lot of fun with that. I did not like Freak at all. As you can see, I mean, in comparison, it just does not have much pigmentation. I don't know. It just didn't have a lot of pigmentation. It didn't build up really well. It just didn't really do anything for me. Also, on my skin tone, I think my skin tone's a little bit olivey. I don't know. I change my mind back and forth what I am all the time. But certain greens look really bad on me. I have to be really careful with greens. So Freak on me, because it didn't have very much pigmentation, it was just kind of like, it just looked like I had a recovered black eye. Like I had a black eye a week ago and now it's just green and kind of getting ready to go away. It looked awful. Okay, on to one of my favorites. We have Urban and Jilted. Urban I actually have on today. It blends out and it starts to look kind of like Jilted. Jilted's probably one of my least favorites in the palette. No, not in the palette. Jilted's not really a favorite of mine, although I love the pinks. I don't like, let's see, if I were to describe Jilted, I would say it's Savage with Urban mixed in, so it kind of has this duochrome. But what I found with it is that as I was putting it on my eye, it always looked uneven. Like one eye would look more pink, one eye would look more purple, and I couldn't get them to even out, and it drove me crazy. I don't like duochromes. For that reason, I have a really hard time with ones that don't look perfectly even, and this one just didn't for me. So I could do without Jilted, actually. And then lastly, we have Chaos, and if you can't tell by the swatch, it is very chalky, it is hard to blend, it is hard to work with, and therefore I do not like Chaos either. So all in all, there's like 5 shades that I could do without and 5 shades that I really, really like. So this palette's kind of 50-50 for me. Also, one of the revelations that I had about this palette when I was using it is that it's not as unique to my collection as I thought that it was. I thought it was super unique. I was like, I don't have any other shadows like this. Yes, I do. Once I started playing with it, I was like, I have a lot of shadows. The 5 shadows that I really like, I have at least 1 or 2 dupes for all of those except for Slow Burn. Slow Burn is the most unique to my collection, but even that, once I get it on and once I start working with it, even that kind of, I have shadows that sort of look like it. They're just not quite as bright. Anyway, so I did some looks with it. Keep in mind with my looks, I'm not that great at eye looks. I have hooded eyes. I think they're hard to work with. Sometimes it doesn't look like I blended as well as I could have, but it's like the way my eye is shaped. It kind of reflects light off of like this little hood right here. It's this guy, it's right here all the time. It looks like it's not blended as well as it should be, but I swear it is. It's just the way the light reflects off of it. So anyways, also I didn't use a white base, and I could have with a lot of these looks. I didn't use it because one of my goals was to kind of see, I was kind of tossing around the idea, since this will be my oldest palette, after I finish my Paint That Palette this year, I was kind of tossing around the idea of doing a Paint That Palette with this next year, with the intentions of not actually using up the whole palette. I'm not that crazy, but I was kind of thinking to get some good use out of it. But so I really wanted to see if I could make looks that were everyday appropriate, so I kind of went that route with all of the looks that I did. I didn't use a white base. I could have used a white base and really made things pop. Also, yeah, I did a look that my absolute favorite look, and I forgot her name, I'll put it down below, Makeup by Lena, I think. I recreated one of her looks with it, loved it, loved it, loved it, loved it. Didn't look as good as hers, but I absolutely loved it. So anyways, another issue I had with this palette, staying true to Urban Decay, was fallout. I do my eye makeup first, then my face makeup, just in case I get fallout. And there were a couple times that some of those blues almost ruined my makeup anyways. I just couldn't get it off. These shadows do stain. They're actually pigments. I call them shadows, but they're actually pressed pigments. Yeah, so they do stain, and they're hard to get off if you don't get them quickly, or if you rub too hard. So anyways, so that was where I'm at with this palette. I haven't decided yet if I'm going to keep it or not. I'm going to do, I think my 1 month 1 palette for next month is going to be the Visart La Boheme, or Le Boheme, I don't know which one. But I think that's going to be my palette for next month, and there's a lot of duplication in that palette as well. But it's a bright, summery time fun palette too. And so yeah, I'm excited to try that one and kind of compare the two. Anyways, so if you guys have any tutorials or anything on the Urban Decay electric palette, let me know. Or on the V's-Art palette, because there's not, you don't see as many tutorials for V's-Art. Anyways, if you have any tutorials or any great looks for me to try next month, let me know in the comments, because I'll be having fun playing with that one. And I will see you guys again soon. Bye!